On a Tuesday afternoon, Florida State adds again to its 2024 recruiting class. Alongside the senior recruiting analyst for Warchant TV, he's Michael Langston. Matt LaSerre, Swiss Army knife, recruiting writer, team writer. He'll be doing a lot of teamwork this week for us at warchant.com. My name is Tom Lang. And at the bottom of the screen, there you go. This one happened quick, guys. FSU lands a 6'6" offensive tackle out of Dublin, Georgia. His name is Jayden Todd. And Michael, I'll start with you. Was this something that developed as quickly as it seems from the outside? Because it felt like Florida State was done in the high school ranks. Tell us what your thoughts are of this particular commitment.
Yeah, I mean, it happened pretty fast as far as after the workout. Certainly worked out at Seminole Showcase. I think they wanted to see in person how he looked as far as movement and things that – is there enough where, okay, we're have to do a great overhaul as far as the talent, or is it enough where we really jumped at him? And he clearly jumped out to them. It's a guy they've been on for a while. They've certainly stayed active with him. I would go all the way back to early spring that they were on him. He visited the FSU a couple of times. So this wasn't like just, hey, you camp and we want you. It's like they've studied his film. They've studied who the kid was and what he do, and certainly 6'6", probably more so a right tackle. From what I see, Jayden's told me that he plays kind of, a little all over the place. So really, position wasn't discussed, I think, with FSU from what I could gather when I talked with him. But I say right tackle, and you see a lot of things that really jump out. You linked, certainly the way he jumps onto the block. And it's just the middle parts of the block that you want to clean up. But overall, you can see why this is going to be, in the coach's eyes, a guy, 1 or 2 years down the run that they feel like, hey, this guy can really help us. We really like just the skill there. And as I told you, before we went on, Tom, like they weren't really too high on a lot of the 2024 offensive line class overall around the country. So this is one that was kind of on their radar, but the fact that what he did in that camp, again, it speaks volumes to how big a performance he was when he was out there at the Seminole Showcase. That says a lot considering what I was previously hearing on the offensive line.
Now, Matt, I know you talked to him today. Both of you guys have talked to Jayden Todd since he has committed to Florida State. But Matt, what did you guys discuss and about his experience this weekend? Just give us a little bit of background on Florida State's newest addition.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me on this kid was his mentality. This was his third time he's visited since the spring. One time just for a visit, was at the first elite camp in June, and then came back for the Seminole Showcase. Obviously, the first 2 times didn't get the offer. It was a question that was asked both times he was there. Did you get the offer? And he didn't. So he really had to earn this, right? I think it speaks a lot to the mentality of this kid, of Todd, just by having to keep coming back and having to really hunker down and earn that offer. He has always been Florida State. Very clear from talking to him that he wanted to commit since the first time he stepped on campus. Obviously, just didn't have the offer. He even said to me, he was like, yeah, I had some doubts at one point, like, would I get the offer? Am I going to have to go somewhere else? But he really loved, like, the first time he stepped on campus, it felt like home. I think the last commit in Hickman Collins, you were like, he's leading so hard, Florida State, he's about to fall over. Mm-hmm. This kid was the exact same way. Loved it from the first time he stepped on, and that just kept going, obviously.
So, Michael, now Florida State, we've had this conversation after Florida State added Mondesi, Jonathan Daniels, and you're pointing to how in the portal, if Florida State has a need this offseason to round out its 2024 group, they will go into the portal and grab an offensive lineman, but they should kind of be done with high school recruits. Do you think now, this time, Florida State and Alex Atkins are done being tempted by kids that they didn't envision that they were going to offer? And do you think they're done in the high school ranks, or does a kid like Zandamela out west still particularly interest FSU, and could they add to a big haul now on the offensive line for the 2024 class?
Yeah, they had a thing on Saturday mornings called Bullwinkle and Rocky, and Rocky will always say, like, this time for sure, or Bullwinkle would say that. That's the way I feel right now, but yeah, Zandamela is one that I think if they were going to get a guy, if they're going to add one more, if there was going to be another one, it'd be him. I can tell you this, they were not planning on taking more than 2 or 3. So that was kind of the plan. So these kids obviously jumped out so much to them that this wasn't a situation like you're taking a body or you're taking somebody that's kind of a project. These are guys that really jumped out to them, So I think it speaks volumes to one, what they saw in evaluations with Jayden, but also just what they've seen with a lot of these guys that they all have. And outside of Zandamela, no, I don't expect another one, but we'll see if during the season that happens. But I think this one does make sense if you factor everything in to get that he came to the camp, he worked out for the staff. They've been on him for a long time. As Matt alluded to, there's several visits. I mean, there's been a process with him, and I don't know any other offensive lineman that they've done that with, that also camp. So, for now, I think we're good 2024. But, I never say never. But this is clearly one that they coveted, that they wanted to see certain things like hand placement, quick feet, the way he moves, stuff like that. They wanted to see specifically for this event, and they certainly got that in spades because he committed. He got an offer, then he committed, and then Jayden was telling me today about how not just they offer, Norvell came to him personally and it's like, I really want you. I really want you here.
So last thing for you, Michael, this is just based on where Florida State sits in the position group. I'm talking roster now and in the future. Florida State is not in a position where they have to throw bodies at a problem. This is a choice all the way, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always with this staff, everything's eye evaluations of what they do. They don't just take guys just to fill bodies. We saw that too, certain years in coaching staff that doesn't work too well because you end up leaving. But I think every guy they have on here, particularly at the offensive line, they have personally evaluated this eye evaluation. They feel like they're not taking this guy unless he can play here. It's like you're not taking him unless you counting on this guy. They feel like as a staff that, hey, this guy's going to help us. He's going to play.
Just when you think they're done, they pull another one back in. The older watchers of the Warchant TV feed probably know what that reference is. He's Michael Langston, yes. Matt LaSerre. I know Michael does. These are the recruiting wing of Warchant.com. Head over to the website, Warchant.com, for more head-to-toe coverage. These guys are exceptional at it, and we've got a whole lot more coverage this week as Florida State opens its fall football camp of 2023. It's finally here, and Florida State still holds, everybody, a top 5 recruiting class for 2024. Stay tuned for more information here on Warchant TV as it comes, and we will talk to you next time.